Well, we are just 8 days away from the election, and although most Americans already know who they are voting for, some are still on the fence. News 11's Adonis Albright spoke with Arizonans who say this year they've taken a different approach at the ballot box than they did in the last presidential election. Adonis.
The 2016 election was an upset for the Democrats that most polls and political analysts couldn't predict. Fast forward to 2020, and there's even more uncertainty about who will win the race. Stephen Miner is a former campaign operative of Arizona's Republican Party. As a longtime member of the GOP, he's championed conservative causes for years. But this election, Miners is filling in a different bubble on his ballot.
I never thought that I would vote for a Democrat for president, especially Barack Obama's vice president.
Although Miner doesn't support a liberal agenda, he says it's not just about policy.
The number one thing that I think he can bring to the country that that Donald Trump is not is unity.
On the flip side, Jonathan Porter is a Yuma local who owns a small business and is a libertarian. He says he didn't head to the polls in the last general election because he was too conflicted.
Tell people vote your conscience, and my conscience didn't have a clear direction at that time, so I abstained from voting, which is something I don't normally do, but I wasn't feeling the bombastic, egotistical Trump, and I didn't like Hillary and her record.
But this time around, his mind's made up.
The backdrop that Trump painted for the 47 months and the 47 years. Once he started to put that into context, it started to become more clear who I should vote for.
President Trump and Joe Biden went head-to-head for the final presidential debate in Nashville last week. Jonathan says it's obvious who came out on top.
Definitely Trump, and that really sealed the deal because he pulled back.
Although Porter doesn't agree with everything Trump has done, he prefers another 4 years compared to the alternative. And when it comes to policies for both candidates,
I was not a fan of Obamacare. That promise to keep your doctor was a lie.
But his policies don't fit with what I always favored as part of the Republican Party. Good budgets, fiscal responsibility, but also more leniency on things like immigration and more tolerance.
The latest polls in the battleground state of Arizona show Joe Biden leading President Trump, but with a little more than a week left until the big day, it's still not clear which candidate will come out on top. In the studio tonight, I'm Adonis Albright, News 11.